Welcome to SAD TV's news. I am Shanna Esprit, your presenter. We would firstly like to apologize for the exclusion of our headline story yesterday. This was due to technical difficulties with our video footage. However, we will be bringing you the story on the UWP Delegates Conference in this news package. In our top stories, Alex Boyd Knights has proposed President of Dominica. HSBC pulls out of Bahamas. UN Refugee Agency says more than 2 million have fled Syria. And in sports, a former West Indies player is concerned about the contribution of Limacore CPL. Details of this will follow.
Yeah, I know that things are tough, but we will make it out. Dominica, we all gonna make it one day. The pressures of the system make us lose around. Oh yeah, we all gonna make it one day. Yeah, listen now, there's something that I wanna say to you. You get me so angry. Yeah man, this is Emma Moses, you know, and you're watching SAT News, the People's Choice, yeah? Make it blessed, make it blessed, make it blessed. Love.
Welcome back. Dominicans have been advised by the Ministry of Health to practice healthy eating habits in their daily routines. This initiative came about as the Ministry of Health launched the 2013 Caribbean Wellness Day under the theme Love That Body, Keep It Bubbling. Caribbean Wellness Day is observed on September 17, 2013. However, activities will commence in Dominica from 1st September to 5th October. Mrs. Helen Royer, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, said this activity has been celebrated in Dominica since 2008 and is still highly recognized.
I commend the health promotion team, district teams, and you, our valued partners, who continue to make this activity a memorable one. The burden of chronic non-communicable disease is rising rapidly and has now become a major challenge to global development. The World Health Organization's 2002 World Health Report stated that mortality, morbidity, and disability associated with chronic diseases attributed for about 60% of global death and 47% of the disease burden. And these estimates are expected to rise to 73% and 60% respectively by 2020. Unfortunately, low and middle income countries like ours are bearing the brunt of these diseases that will have significant social, economic, and health consequences. Like many Caribbean countries, these major CNCDs have been identified as the leading cause of both mortality and morbidity in Dominica for the last 10 years.
This year's activities include a walk for cancer, a national trail hike, screening at schools island-wide, mass aerobic sessions on the Bayfront, educational sessions, and a rally on child abuse in Grand Bay. Mrs. Royer said based on a survey conducted in 2006, there is evidence stating that risk factors including unhealthy diets and physical inactivity at an early age need to be addressed.
The survey indicated that 26.3% of our students were at risk for becoming overweight, 10% were already overweight, and 26.5% ate fruits and vegetables 5 or more times per day. A CNCD risk factor survey also conducted in 2006 revealed that almost 1 in 2 people are overweight or obese, and about 9 in 10 people are not eating the recommended number of servings of fruits and vegetables. This is detrimental to the quality of life and development of our nation and has implications to the delivery of health care.
Caribbean Wellness Day was initiated at the Caribbean Heads of Government Summit back in September 2007. Chronic diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, cancers, heart disease, and strokes have been identified as the leading cause of death, disability, and loss of productive years of life throughout the Caribbean.
Caribbean Wellness Day, therefore, seeks to place emphasis on reversing this trend, and this year we will attempt to place our focus on the youth, since we all know that patterns of behavior acquired during childhood and adolescence are more likely to be maintained throughout the lifespan. Thus, sedentary behavior, poor eating habits adopted at a young age is likely to persist. We know we need to act now. Some of the other factors include lifestyle factors. We are all in one way or more guilty of not consistently adhering to healthy lifestyle. We sometimes eat very well, but we work excessively. We are always stressed with a list of unending must-do activities, and little time is spent for physical activity.
The Ministry of Health will continue to work with the Ministry of Education in this regard. In other news, children within the Bath Estate community received tremendous assistance with school supplies as the Bath Estate Development Committee gave back on Monday, September 2nd. Cassandra Williams, chairperson of the Bath Estate Committee, said in the committee's attempts to contribute to the overall development of the community, as well as to build the committee's spirit, they will embark on a number of projects such as this one.
One such project is a school assistance program. The main aim of this program is to assist the needy students of Bath Estate and EMSOL by providing them with the basic supplies for school, whereby learning can be made easier. We are hoping that this program will become an annual one where more students who are in need can benefit from such programs. However, because this is our first year, we were unable to provide to more students as we wanted. The committee made a great effort in ensuring that this project came to fruition.
Over 500 school supplies were donated to 3 secondary schools and 4 primary school students from the communities of Bath Estate and EMSOL. The recipients included Deandra Baptist and Amy Filbert, both from EMSOL. Felicia Philogen, Stephilia Ito, Merani Pinard, Vonte Hamilton, and Adeline Leslie were the recipients from Bath Estate. Ms. Williams called on the students to remain focused and to take good care of their stationaries. 3 projects will be undertaken by the committee, including a computer room located at the Bath Estate Development Committee Center, expected to be completed this month.
The computer room will be made available to students who do not have access to a computer at home and who require a computer to do their homework. It will also be available to residents as well. In addition, the committee is also working alongside the Adult Education Division in having various sessions in sewing, cake decorating, pastry making, and basic electricity courses for persons in the areas of Bath Estate, EMSOL, and Silver Lake who are interested in either learning a new skill or further developing their skills in the mentioned areas.
Mr. Ambrose George, a parliamentary representative, said the Bath Estate Development Committee has taken on itself to make this contribution to the needy students.
And I'm sure that when you receive your package this afternoon, that you'll be very grateful and very thankful for this gesture which is being put on by the Bath Estate Development Committee. And of course, we're hoping that when you receive those gifts, that you will use them properly, you will use them wisely, you will take care of them, and ensure that the gifts that you get do serve the purpose that you are receiving them for.
We now go to the handing over of school supplies.
Aladdin Leslie. Felicia Philogen. Anne-Marie Pinard.
more news, the government of Dominica, the Dominica Labour Party, has allegedly proposed the Speaker of the House, Mrs. Alex Boyd Knights, as a nominee for the President of Dominica. This statement was revealed by an investigative journalist on a popular morning talk show today, September 3rd. Issues have been raised in the past about the affiliation with Mrs. Knights and the current government of Dominica, and on several occasions of her conduct at the House of Assembly. According to the journalist, a meeting with opposition leader Hector John and the Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit was held on September 2nd in relation to the matter. Speculations are that Mr. John was not in agreement with this decision and refused to make any comments at this time. Mr. Williams was a former public servant elected to complete the term of former President Nicholas Liverpool, who has resigned due to health conditions in August of 2012. The opposition United Workers' Party did not attend the sit-in and refused to participate in the voting process of Mr. Williams, contending that the process leading to nomination of candidates for the post of president was unconstitutional. The term of current President, Mr. Elud Williams, will soon expire and he is expected to be replaced this coming October. SAT TV will keep you informed on updates as they become available. In other stories, this week marks the opening of a new school year for thousands of students across the island. Honorable Peter Seja, Minister for Education, said this year the Ministry of Education continues in its quest to ensure that every learner succeeds by constantly reviewing and updating their approach to the delivery of quality education to students.
As students return to the classroom tomorrow, and of course the staff, teachers have been at it from yesterday. Students will return to our schools, and one of the most obvious changes, of course, will be that the physical plants at a number of our schools, just about 15, 16 of our primary schools. I refer here to the Ministry's maintenance and repair program, which we usually undertake during the summer vacation in preparation for the new school year.
According to the Education Minister, one of the more significant changes this year in the education sector is the large number of students who will be awarded the opportunity to receive real training within the school system, which will improve their chances of employment in the future.
Of the introduction of CVQs, that is the Caribbean Vocational Qualification Pilot Project, at 3 of our secondary schools. This, Brian, is part of our renewed focus on technical and vocational education at our schools as we seek to ensure that our learners become more competitive in this increasingly globalized environment. And so at the Northeast Comprehensive High School, we are focusing on crop production. At the Dominica Grammar School, we are launching food preparation, and at the Goodwill Secondary School, we will launch the garment production.
According to Mr. Seja, under the Dominica Education Enhancement Project, teachers have been trained to deliver these programs. 21 assessors have graduated and will ensure that the industrial standards are met and maintained. The ministry, he said, will also focus on improving technical vocational education training offered to all schools under the Education Enhancement Project.
We procured some $3.1 million worth of equipment and materials to augment the program in food preparation, music, cosmetology, auto mechanics, physical education, electricity, and a number of other areas. So the focus is that students can be well equipped.
He believes that technology and innovation is the key to our survival. In more news, following the election of the United Workers' Party's new leader, Mr. Lennox Linton, plans were highlighted in an effort to move the country forward. Mr. Linton's success came at the party's delegates conference held on September 1st at the Cassandra Primary School, where he replaced Mr. Edison James, former Prime Minister and the MP for the Marigot constituency. In his inaugural address, shortly after he was announced as a new leader for the United Workers' Party, Mr. Linton urged his supporters to put all differences and understandable disappointments behind and to prepare for the battle to lift Dominica out of the abyss of doom and gloom.
Together, we will do it again. And so, at this time, when Dominica cries out to be released from the stranglehold of a regime that has managed to turn the country upside down, inside out, back to front over the last 14 years, we rise on the commitment that the United Workers' Party will lead Dominica to the glory days of its full potential.
Mr. Linton said his party intends to pursue an economic development strategy principled on sustainable, innovative utilization of our natural resources to transform the economy from a state of helplessness decline to a level of vibrancy, able to provide the current needs of Dominicans.
We'll create an enabling environment through leadership action that carefully connects our vision, our values, our business fundamentals, legislation and incentives to the economic growth strategy. In so doing, we'll facilitate the emergence of a strong private sector that drives new investments and job growth, earns foreign exchange, and increases disposable income. To facilitate more productive engagements with the global community, we will embark on a comprehensive air and sea access initiative to include the development of an international airport, a Dominica-based airline, and a high-speed ferry service.
On the technology front, according to Mr. Linton, they plan to reposition Dominica by engaging the high-speed wireless broadband available to enable new cutting-edge business development driven by video calling, streaming, and data transfer. He called on his supporters to believe in their individual ability to make a difference and in our collective ability to allow Dominica to soar to the sublime heights of human achievements. The United Workers' Party representatives will be re-elected President Ezekiel Basil, Deputy President Opposition Leader Hector John, General Secretary Alroy Williams, Deputy General Secretary Danny Luge, Public Relations Officer Glenroy Coffey, Treasurer Jamison Johnson, Deputy Treasurer Clyde Prosper, and the trustees Ron Green, Norris Prevost, former President Edison James, and Deputy Political Leader Claudia Sanford. The election was described as a historic event since this year marked the party's 25th year of existence. In other news, participants of the Sunset Bay Club dive course held for less fortunate children were recognized for their achievements at the second closing ceremony last week. The course consisted of children between the ages of 12 to 14 and was presented by the Sunset Bay Club and the Seaside Dive Resort in collaboration with French dive instructors Plongier Dumond. One of the instructors, Jerome Zubialde, said they try their best to teach the children in several countries how to dive safely.
This is our third time in Dominica. We did try to do that session 2 years ago, the last year, and then this particular year. And for this year, we've prepared 2 different weeks, the past week and that particular week. So we already did certificate 7 new kids as scuba divers last Friday. And this time we are working with kids that were here last year and the year before. So this is for twice or third time for most of them.
Mr. Zubialde commended both the parents and media for coming out to support the children, but to the parents most importantly for allowing them to participate in the course. They worked in 3 different groups to better assist the participants depending on the levels they were on. We now go to the handing over of the certificates.
I would like to call first Ajayi. Ajayi is now. Thank you, my friend. He's an adventure diver now.
According to the instructor, it was a pleasant week and it was an honor to share this diving experience with the children. It is hoped that more children participate next year. In other stories, proprietor of Jungle Bay Resort, Sam Raphael, has recently ventured into the aviation sector. Here is Mr. Raphael as he gives some insight into this venture. Mr. Raphael, we've been hearing about a new venture that you're undertaking. Can you tell us more about this venture?
It's a charter aviation service which we're starting in October, between October and November, and we'll begin to provide service between Dominica and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Our first airplane is a 15-passenger airplane, 15 passengers. However, we have adjusted the airplane, taking out 6 seats in the rear to be able to carry cargo. So we'll be doing a mixed cargo passenger, around 9 seats for cargo and about 2,000 pounds for produce. And this we will start serving between Dominica and U.S. Virgin Islands later this year. And again, this is the seed because we expect to expand and next year certainly to get another aircraft and to grow exponentially from there. Our hope is to be able to assist in the air access situation in Dominica. As you know, I'm in tourism, and we certainly need to find ways to be able to bring in visitors to Dominica reliably and comfortably with their luggage. And this has been a challenge, and it's been apparently getting worse and worse. And so Hummingbird Air, this is what this is our goal for the air service.
Okay, Mr. Raphael, did the fact that Liat is an unreliable airline at time cause you to venture into the aviation sector?
No, the direct answer is no, because the decision was made a year and a half ago, and this is way before the current problems with Liat. But Dominica, certainly, I opened Jungle Bay in 2005, and aviation transportation was never good. It was always challenged. Even when it was more stable, there were still problems. Many people had a difficult time getting to Dominica from wherever, either having to overnight in Puerto Rico or all types of challenges. So the decision was made a year and a half ago. It was probably precipitated more by the departure of American Eagle at the time than Liat. We have some reputational damage that's going to impact us for some time. But we will try to rebuild that slowly. And Hummingbird Air is not the solution in any way, shape, or form, but it's a small part. And like the analogy of a seed, someone told me, the biggest tree started as a small seed, and so now we are planting the first seed, and we're going to nurture it, and hopefully it's going to grow over the next few years.
And how many people have you employed for Hummingbird Air so far?
We are operating between the United States Virgin Islands and Dominica. The headquarters now is in the United States Virgin Islands. So we have the main pilot is from there, and we have folks from there, but we've also employed in Dominica, and we will be employing people as we need. The direct employment with the Hummingbird Air is only one part of it, but we certainly expect to assist several farmers, and I think we'll be able to assist many more people that are not working directly for the airline, because every time the airplane moves several times a week, we expect to have a ton of produce being moved, and that's a lot of
Okay. As someone who is actively involved in the tourism sector, would you say that an international airport will help alleviate a lot of the issues Dominicans are faced with, or Dominica is faced with?
No, I have to answer this honestly. I would like to see an international airport in Dominica. Every day that goes by that we don't have it, the cost of construction goes up all the time. And so, yes, it would be good to jump in a jet from New York or Miami or London and fly down to Dominica. But again, looking at the reality, I don't know. This is not a decision for me to make. This is a decision for the authorities that look at the numbers and look at their budgets and look at the situation. Right now, we have less than 200 people flying into Dominica on a daily basis. How many jets would that be from New York and London and so on? So realistically, from where I sit, where I have to deal with things on a day-to-day basis.
And will Hummingbird Air be operating in Melville Hall or Kinfield?
Well, we're going to start out of Kinfield because Kinfield is you have other services that are operating out of Melville Hall, and so you want to offer what most people aren't offering. We have a very fast, efficient airplane that can land on a short runway, so it's ideal for Kinfield. But Kinfield, sometimes you have challenges with the wind, so we may not be able to come in Kinfield every flight. But eventually, hopefully, in my mind and the long-term thinking, hopefully we'll be operating out of both airports down the road and providing quick, efficient, like a Hummingbird, quick, efficient transport in and out of Dominica.
And in court news, Javier Gordon of Portsmouth, residing in Roseau, pleaded with Magistrate Bernard Paquette for one last chance subsequent to his arrest for several breaches of the law. Gordon was arrested and charged on August 31st on charges of threats to police obstruction, battery of a police officer, resisting arrest, and being armed with an offensive weapon, namely a knife. He pleaded guilty to the charge of being armed with an offensive weapon and not guilty to all the other charges. The facts of the case stated that the police were responding to a report when they noticed Gordon throwing a knife into the Roseau River. The officers approached him and attempted to search him, but when a struggle ensued, they both had no choice but to forcefully arrest him. The policeman involved in the arrest stated that Gordon threatened to kill him. However, in a sworn statement, Gordon admitted to having the knife but said it was not in his possession to harm anyone. In his statement and under cross-examination, he denied the charges held against him, except the one he pleaded guilty to. Magistrate Paquette, who was not contented with the evidence the police had brought forward, dismissed the charges of threats, battery, and resisting arrest, but was found guilty on the charge of obstruction and being armed with an offensive weapon. Gordon begged the magistrate before sentencing, saying that he can do better and he is trying hard to behave. His track record showed that he was no stranger to convictions, and prior to this incident, he was jailed for 3 months on battery charge earlier this year. He was given a 6-month sentence, suspended for 1 year on the charge of being armed with an offensive weapon, but no separate penalty for the charge of obstruction. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, the regional highlights.